Hey, yo. Yes, we are back with another one. This is Said Talk Podcast. Baby, listen, we got another guest. You know what I'm saying? We're going to keep it coming. I told y'all, listen, we're going to have a guest on the show. We about to really dive in and start getting to know people. Look, but this is my homegirl. We got Breanna. We here. Listen, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Just lovely. You know, you feel me? We over here over the water. Can't complain in this beautiful city, you know, like that. Nice in San Diego, California, man. If you haven't been here, check it out. Because this place is beautiful. This is one of my favorite places to go. But first of all, I just want to thank you for hopping on the show. Greatly appreciate it. So what's your thoughts right now, man? Like, being on the show, you on Said Talk Podcast.
About time.
Yeah.
Yo, I knew I was going to be a guest. Like, that was no question.
Yeah.
It was going to be me, of course.
Yeah.
But I was like, I was actually kind of rehearsing. When you told me you had the podcast coming out, I was like, all right, how I'm going to do this?
Yeah.
I had to get my hair done. I had to get the nails done. I was like, eventually the day is going to come. So the day is here, people. I am here.
We are here. Listen, we're going to give a round of applause for that. You know what I'm saying? I like that. Look, and here's the deeper part, though. Like, she actually has been helping, too, with, like, a lot of the background, information. If I'm recording things behind the scene, I'll send and be like, yo, I need another ear, So she has definitely been helpful in this process of getting this stuff, going and moving, and so that you guys, can enjoy the content as well. So I greatly appreciate all the work behind the scenes that you have helped with. So definitely shout out to that, man. But we're going to get right into it. Do me a favor. Go ahead, tell the people your name, about yourself, what you do, and things like that.
So my name is Breanna Williams. I'm a little country girl from Arkansas. I was in the Navy for 12 years, and then it was time to go. And so I got out, started my business and everything. And now I have my own podcast now. So it's called the New Season Podcast.
The New Season Podcast. Check that out. Look, I'm going to put the links up and everything. It's either going to be up here, down here, somewhere. But the New Season Podcast.
New Season Podcast. I used to have another podcast. It was called The Vibes of the Queen.
Okay.
But I stopped it. And now new things have come, new experiences, new lessons learned. So that's why I'm saying it's a new season. I'm a new person now.
I like that. That's pretty deep.
So yeah. That's much about me. Okay. I'm goofy and love to have a good time. So
that's awesome. And you said a lot, actually. So like, I definitely want to start breaking some things down, right? So first of all, you said that you were in the military, and then you also said like you've left the military, you retired from the military, and
I didn't retire.
Okay, didn't retire.
I separated.
You separated from the military. So let's dive into that a little bit. So like, let's go all the way back. First of all, like, what made you want to be in the military, a part of the military? First of all, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I greatly appreciate it as well. So, but what got you into the military?
So, I'm from a little small town called Camden, Arkansas. We call it Queen City. But nothing is going on in Camden. Okay. Like, to the point where it's boring. There's not even a movie theater. There's nothing for the kids to do. And I was always that kid's like, one day I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And so the Navy was my exit plan to get out.
Okay.
Basically. I was trying to go to the Air Force. However, Air Force, they were not recruiting at that time. Okay. The Navy was, of course. So I went to the Navy. I didn't look back. I was ready to go. So I got to do a lot of things. Got to see a lot of places. A little country girl from Arkansas, 19, 20 years old, navigating a ship.
Yeah.
So I've definitely had some great moments, seen some new places, ate some crazy foods, but it was definitely good.
That's cool. And so, like, being in the Navy now, you said about 19 years old, 20 years old. Okay, so being in the Navy, like, what was some of the things that, like, really, like, wow, I really love what I do? Like, you can say I'm proud to be a part of this. What were some of those moments that you've experienced to be like, I'm serving my country, proud moments, whether if it's, through leadership, through somebody else's example, or things like that. Like, what were some of those moments like?
Well, in the beginning, I wasn't thinking about all that. In the
Okay.
beginning, it was trying to just me getting out.
Okay.
And then eventually, after I really learned what I was doing, I'm like, if you ever go on a ship, you will see like the bridge. So I'm on the top of the ship. Okay, I am the person who is planning the trip from, let's say, San Diego to Italy.
Okay.
So I'm the person who's putting the pieces together. And then I'm the person also who is telling like the captain, you know, sir, ma'am, we should do it this way. So
Yeah.
I'm important.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so I'm important. And then there's other people there, and I'm like overseeing different people doing different things, making sure that we're getting there safely and sound. So things like that, or I would say like deployments, going deployments and being a part of different like humanitarian things, and you know, working with other navies and so forth and so on. That was pretty fun.
Okay.
But if anything, just knowing what we do, and then just putting the uniform on.
Okay.
Like I was cute in my uniform.
Yeah.
Okay. Like they try to like, you know, cover the female up, like cut our hair.
Yeah.
Back then they don't do it anymore.
Okay.
But cut your hair and make it look like make us look equal in a sense. But there's ways around it. So you can still be cute. But being able to wear the uniform and then like civilians don't wear the uniform, like I ain't gonna lie, I had a little pop. Like, you know, I'm a little different than you. But yeah, I guess just the different things that we were doing, the different countries we were going to, the different navies we work with.
Okay.
All of it was just like, wow, this is nice. This is fun.
Yeah. That's pretty good. And to and forgive me if I don't know like the terminologies, right, when it comes to ranks, promotions, and things like that. How was that for you? Like, were you ever promoted, or what rank or level were you on when you came in 1920 to when you left, you know, the Navy? Like, what was that like for you, that experience?
So I came in as a E1.
Okay.
The low on the totem pole. And then I made my way up to E6.
Okay.
E6. I was about to go E7, but then the thought hit. Like, if I hit E7, my job is on the ship.
Okay.
So I'm going to be on the ship even more.
Okay.
So eventually, you know, I do want to get married. I do want to have kids and so forth and so on. I don't want to be on the ship when that happens.
Okay.
So that's one of the biggest reasons, or my main reason of why I got out. So
Okay.
I can't do that while I'm still in the Navy.
Okay. And so one of your reasons, and I'm glad you brought it here because we're headed this way. So now, you know, things were going good. From E1 to E6, had the potential, right, to grow to, you know, to get to a step above E7. And then a thought came to mind, like, wow, if I take this step, now, you know, I don't want to be pregnant in this situation. I'll have to just still be, you know, on the ship. If I have the baby, you know what I'm saying? Just all sorts of things.
Yeah, because a lot of times what happens is, you know, my mom was already saying it, like, don't worry about it. I'll move in with y'all. I'll take care of the baby. And no, you're not. You're not raising my kids. I'm sorry. Because I know there's and if you do it, that's you. Bravo to you. All my hats off to all women who do it, right?
Yep.
Men too. But I know the situation where I've had a supervisor and her little boy calls her mom mommy.
Okay.
That's his grandma. So he refers to her as mommy and refers to his actual mom as like mom.
Okay.
Right. So anytime anything happens, he runs to mommy. Right. And I know there's some situations too where parents, let's say, especially the dad had the baby, or the mom was pregnant, the dad went on deployment.
Yep.
The mom has the baby while he's gone. And then when we come back, the baby doesn't know the dad. You know, like different things like that. And so, no, that's just me.
Okay.
No.
Definitely understand that. So before we get right into the exit plan of the military, genders, right? So how is that, men and women? I know a lot of times you said they wanted to make you guys like equal, cut the hair, you know, just your mannerisms or womenrisms. It's not a word, but look, we're gonna make it happen. Like, what was that experience like for you? Was it completely different? Did you see any like segregation, anything like that? How was that for you being a woman in the military?
I think when I first went in, it was definitely a lot more men than women, and they made it where they try to make it more equal. But there's been multiple situations where the women were fewer than men.
Okay. So
I guess there's definitely a difference in how we both carry ourselves, how we talk, how we have our conversations. Like, it was a lot of swallowing my emotions.
Okay.
Now, I understand that some people are like, your emotions can blind you and blah, blah, blah. But women, we're wired differently.
Okay.
So we see things in a different light. So it definitely made me have to like push away a lot of femininity. Yeah. I would think. So that way I could have a conversation with my male counterparts, especially if you were higher ranking than me. Okay. Because I'm about to start dripping tears. Yeah. But I can't, because the moment I do that, you're not listening to me anymore. Yep. You know what I mean? Yep. So it'll be like, hold on, I'm gonna go out here, cry my eyes out real quick, clear it up, then I'm gonna come in here and say what I gotta say. But I still can't show that emotion, because the moment I do, I can sense that you're not listening anymore.
Wow, that's crazy. A little bit, because it deals with your emotions, more so of like, okay, I'm feeling emotional, I'm feeling like, I'm gonna tear up a little bit, but because of my ranking, my level, I have people looking up to me because of how important you are on that ship, right? As she said in the beginning, we know how important she is. That's huge, to be able to try to like bottle up your emotions at the same time lead people and stuff like that on the ship. That's crazy, but thank you for sharing that. I was just curious when you said that, as far as like, I made my uniform look cute, or they try to cut her hair, things like that, but you've done it for many, many years. And it has changed. Like, now you see more women going into the military, serving. Thank you as well for your serving. Appreciate you for your service.
But I would say this too, though. In doing that so often, I would definitely say it did make me very masculine. Okay. Especially like in times where I did work with nothing but men. So to me, I'm normal. But after a while, I started noticing my mannerisms. So like, crossing my leg was out. I was thinking, like, what's up? How's the pharaoh? Like, what? Dropping every F-bomb there was in the world. Like, so attitude, everything changed, right? Like, different things didn't bother me, desensitized and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. So I definitely saw that happen, like, affect different parts of my life, especially relationships, because hey, I'm with y'all all the time, so my attitude changed. But
definitely. And you just brought something else up, and this is just a sidebar. I want to bring this up because I want to hear you guys' thoughts on it as well. So if you haven't checked out, emotional thinking versus logical thinking, go and check that out. But while we're on this emotional conversation, like, do you think that changed, right? Because your mannerism has changed and you had to kind of hide your emotions. Do you think that that has changed, where typically, this is just what people are saying. People are saying women think emotionally, men think logically. Because you had to like hide the emotions and couldn't act the way that your emotions will allow you to act, and then you started kind of like, changing it a bit. Does that change the way you think, even in relationships, when it comes to like, what? I'm thinking more logical on this situation, or what, but
Okay, so let's backtrack. So women are very logic. Okay, we're very logic. We make logical decisions. The reason why I say that we're emotional creatures is because we don't ignore our emotions. Okay. Like, your emotions still have lessons there. Like, if something ticks you off, to some people they'll be like, oh, you're just being emotional. No, that emotion is telling you there is something here that we need to do a deep dive in. Or not always a deep dive, but something like, pay attention to that. Why did that make you upset? Or why did that trigger you? Yeah. Because there's something here that we need to learn. Yeah. So nothing's wrong with emotions. And I think the males need to tap into that a little bit more. But so no, we still make logic decisions. And I actually forgot your question, because I had to really make sure I went back and touched on that.
But you actually pretty much answered the question, because my question was saying, because you had to hide the emotion.
Okay.
and even your mannerism was starting to change, but then also in your relationship, would that now affect you to be more logical in the relationship of not, because what I mean is emotional thinking, sometimes you feel a certain emotion and then you act on that emotion. So if I feel upset about something, or I'm angry about something you've done to me, because I'm going off that emotional thought, I'm going to do something that might not be great or beneficial.
Yeah.
It won't help us because I'm upset. But the logic of it is, you know, you might have some men and women as well. The logic part of it is like just really focusing on that fact of whatever the situation was, the argument, the disagreement. And I'll say, well, I did park the car where you wanted me to, you know, but I just didn't lock the doors when I left. Like, it wasn't my fault, you know.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of addressing that fact. Did that change for you, having to hide your emotions and then now just kind of moving off, you know, what was happening in front of you?
As far as relationships,
yes.
So, yeah. So, because in the military, once again, I have to be the strong person, right? In the relationship, you would think I would be a little more, okay, I'm at home, I can relax with him. No,
yeah.
It's like a switch I gotta turn off, but sometimes I don't turn it off because it's like I gotta go back and forth. I gotta be strong at work, but still feminine or not. I don't want to say feminine, take it out of context, but be a little more soft and allow him to be like the macho man. At least that's how my relationships to be, where I can be a little more, you know, girly. You got it. Versus I got it all the time.
Yeah.
So in that situation, thinking about my last relationship, we bumped heads a lot.
Yeah.
Because he's in the military as well. So we're both military. We're both trying to like be in a relationship, but I'm still bumping heads with him because I'm strong.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Definitely, that was definitely some lessons learned in that situation of how to get out of it. But now that I'm no longer in, because I've been out for 2 years now, the first thing I did when I got out was, and this may sound crazy, I wore dresses.
Okay.
Like I wore dresses, I let my hair down, like I put a little bit of makeup. I don't like makeup, but I put a little bit of makeup on, you know, put some heels on, because that was my way of like trying to get back or feel a little more like a woman versus I know what I'm wearing tomorrow. It's my uniform. Put the boots on, put my hair back in the bun, and I'm out. You know, with a hat on or a cover. But yeah, so I would now been able to be more Bree, be more, my environment has changed where I don't have to wear the uniform all the time. And now I can be more of the woman that I want to be. A little more dainty, a little more, you know.
That's super perfect though. And so just moving on, right? The exit now. So I want to talk about the exit, leaving the military. So now you have left. You said you've been out for 2 years now. So we've left military. Now, what is life like for you? You know, you said you had the dresses, you know, all these things. What is life like for you now, being out of that environment?
So getting out is a lot calmer as far as my environment, as far as my mental, because while I was in, it was always high stress. Situations where it's not just stress from the work, but it's stress from people. It's stress from politicking all the time. Like, oh my God, if it's right, it's right. Let it go. But because this person, politics, right? That was getting on my nerves. Being grown and having to take care of other grown people, that was getting on my nerves. So it was just like little things that was like really, really irking me. And, you know, a lot of people don't realize, but it's a lot of like mental stress, a lot of mental illness that goes on in the military too. And that's why I started noticing like I gotta go. Because my mental is going downhill. And you was there last time when I like the bottom let out. Okay. So I was like, I don't want to go down that road again. So I was like, it's time to go. The idea is to have at least 2 years to plan to get out. I think I made my actual decision with less than a year to get out. So I already had like money put away. I already had things put aside and so forth and so on. And I'm like, if I'm working hard, which is true, if you're hard work in the military, you get out the military, you still have those qualities about you, and so forth and so on. My biggest change that happened though was for me, because while I was in the military this time, I wasn't following God.
Oh. Yeah.
All right, so this was like, and everyone's story is different, but I wasn't following God like I was supposed to be, like I knew to do. But at that time, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought like, hey, just keep working hard, you'll make it. So I got out, I started my business, profitable, things of that nature. But then it got to the point where working hard stopped working.
Elaborate. I want you to elaborate on that one.
Yeah, so I believed in God.
Yeah.
But I wasn't following God. Like, I wasn't leaning on God. It was more like, yo, this is the plan.
Yeah.
Make it work type deal. Because I was leaning on my own strength to make it work. Right? And so it was kind of like, you know, I always joke about it, but I think I have a guardian angel. Her name was Felicia.
Yeah. Like, bye, Felicia.
Yeah, you know, like, we get into it all the time. And she was like, girl, you might want to, you know, start praying a little more. You know, you might want, even Cedric, you know, you been reading your Bible. I'm like, yo, back up. And my mom was like, you been going to church? Look, back up. This is my journey. Let me do, because I've had a journey. Okay, I've had a spiritual journey. It's been kind of crazy. But it got to the point where like everything I know, because I'm Mrs. Fix It. I can put it together. Here we got it. We're good to go. Things are wonderful. But it wasn't working anymore. So it was just like down. And then it got to the point where my business was sinking. It got to the point where my relationship was sinking. It got to the point where everything was sinking. And I didn't want to be that person like, oh, everything is going bad, now go to God. You know, I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. But eventually, you know, let me just read a little bit. Maybe a word can be a little encouraging. And then here comes, oh, you're reading your Bible? I was like, yo, that don't mean I'm going to church tomorrow. All right, calm down. But then things start happening.
Hold on. We gonna pause on that real quick. I just want to let the people know what that means, you know, like, and so keep in mind, so like with all that is going on, you know, like I'm still there, I'm checking on her, seeing how she doing and stuff like that. And then, you know, one day she was just like, man, I'm about to like really study like the women of, you know, the Bible and things like that. And I was just like, so immediately my thought is like, the word of God is extremely powerful. Okay. So, but if you find yourself happening to just look in the Bible, some people that look over certain things and they'll close it. But when you're studying certain things in the scriptures, I knew God was going to be working. I knew it. So I said, whoa. She was like, yeah, I'm going to just, you know, like I say, right, the new season is about to be coming out. What's the first episode, the first season going to be about? Identity, right? So this is huge. And this is all going to tie in. So I want y'all to pay attention. But so, you know, so we're talking about it. And I'm just like, wow, she's about to start studying the women in the Bible. And I'm like excited. And so I was like, yo, that's dope. Like, and she was like, chill out. Hey, bro, chill out. Like, it ain't what you think. I'm just focusing on identity. I'm just kind of looking at these things. And I kept quiet. I said, all right, yeah, I'm gonna chill out. A little bit, quiet. Though. I wasn't, you know, you didn't feel me going hard on her. But like, I knew that studying a word, which she already believed in God, like, God is powerful than everything that we face at the end of the day. But I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. You can go ahead, you can continue.
Okay, so eventually, like he said, things just kept happening. And I was like, I'm not going to church. My mom was like, you know, you might just want to go and just see what's going on. Just go. I'm like, whatever. So I had made a plan to go. I went to church. I had an attitude in church, to be honest. I was like, I don't know why I'm here. They started late. They on color people time. Yeah. What's going on here? But eventually it did get to the point where it was like, all right, you're where you're supposed to be. Questions are now being answered. A lot of things are now falling in place. A lot of things that I was actually already doing is like confirmations, like keep going this route, right? So these last couple of years has been a lot of me leaning on God. And now it's like, take it back. These last few months has been really leaning on God. But when I look back over the last 2 years, to be honest, I've not really had like your traditional job. I had the business, I had profits, so forth and so on. Things sank, but I never failed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, looking back, he was always there. It was this Felicia, like, God, give her a moment. She coming, you know. But at the same time, even through all that stuff, I never like just crumbled. If that makes sense.
That does make sense.
So for people, because I know like a lot of people get out of the military and they're like, oh, it's hard out here. It's different. It's very, very different. For me, I know that I have a calling in life where being an employee is not it.
Yep.
And I like I said, the podcast, the speaking engagements, one day TED Talks, okay, things of that nature.
Yep.
That's where my calling is at, like or mentoring people, and my book, I'm writing a book and so forth and so on. So different things of that nature. That's where my heart is taking me. And I noticed in the military, I wouldn't be able to do any of those things because, well, kind of, sort of. But if you're on the ship, most of your time's on the ship. You get off from work, you're not trying to do anything else but go to sleep. Okay, so it was like taking away Breanna, who Breanna really want to be. Now that I'm out the military, I can be who Breanna wants to be, or who Breanna is.
Dang, that's so powerful.
So if you're in the military and you're kind of like, what do? I always tell people, like, don't allow people stay in the military because they are fearful of getting out, like starting over. Oh, I have kids. I know this one guy, he was in for like 30 some years, and I'm like, man, what made you stay in so long? He's like, my wife. I like, your wife what? Like, my wife wanted me to stay in. She liked the lifestyle. I'm like, no.
Sheesh.
Because your wife is not here doing this job. You know what I'm saying? Your wife is at home enjoying your paycheck, which military don't get paid that much. But she's enjoying those paychecks, but she's not here dealing with the stress that you deal with. Yeah. Or something like that. So
yeah. That's extremely powerful because I think ship, right? So you have military as the umbrella, but then you have like the image, right, that they want you to portray, how they want you to look, how they want you to act, how you speak, right? A sergeant, someone comes in, right? That's just high caliber, just the respect that you ought to give to them, to where now that could shape someone's identity that might not really be their identity. But then you said when you've left and you use the terminology sinking, I was doing this, boom, it was sinking. I was doing that, boom, it was sinking. Like, but the way I look at it is like a sinking ship, right? Because we're done away with that, okay? Meaning now you're going to who you are. This is Bree. I'm really feeling like I'm stepping into this identity of who I've always been in God, to where now I'm able to still reach others, right? Because I still, just dealing with people, I know that still gives you that good feeling of like, I want to help people. I like listening to people, enjoying people. But now with your actual identity, I feel like that's going to be powerful. So just briefly, can you speak a little bit about what it looks like to find that identity individually, right? Everybody's different. What would that kind of look like if somebody is looking for their identity, or even your experience,
Well, I believe that everyone has an identity right now.
Yeah. It's
what is your identity based in? So, dang, I'm about to give all the juice. I'm talking about my own stuff, but when you listen to the podcast, it'll be more details. But everyone has an identity. It's what is your identity based in, right? And that's the reason why we're unable to answer the question, who am I? Because it's based in the wrong thing. So we're like asking other people or getting other people's opinions. We're thinking we're just asking for help, but you're really asking for permission. Okay, and so you're taking what they say and you're adopting it as you. When our actuality, those were their thoughts. Okay. Or for example, you have a job. The job tells you, hey, do X, Y, and Z. You do it. You think the job is you, but the job fires you tomorrow. those qualities that you had that job now lead to? Or was that you all alone? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, some people, they say, oh, I'm a wife. Okay, you're a wife, but do you make the wife, or does the wife make you? So those are the things, if you strip away all those titles, underneath that, who are you?
Yep.
So for me, it was like, okay, I don't have the military anymore. So I'm not Q-1 Williams anymore. So now who am I? Okay, my relationship is going downhill. So no more relationship. So I'm not a girlfriend anymore. Now who is the person under that? You know, things that nature. And what I noticed was those things were other people's opinions of me. But identity really means, what do I believe about me? And so that's where the issue was laying. Like, because I didn't know how I felt about me.
Okay.
So to get there, like one day, you know, you're just doing your own business, and this thought hit. It was like, you're asking the wrong question. It's not who am I, it's who does God say that you are. Because if I keep asking who am I, I'm asking me, the creation, versus asking the creator who I am. That makes sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
And then me asking different people for their opinions, I'm still asking creations who the creation is. When I should just be asking the creator.
The creator,
Yeah.
That's nice.
However, there's more, right?
Okay.
Because of this time, right, it was the one reason why I didn't want to ask the creator is because how I viewed him. So I viewed him as this old man who was just mean, and the moment you make a mistake, he's ready to throw a lightning bulb at you, consequences, and if you don't get it right before you die, the angel is going to just throw you in hell, you know. That's it. And with that look of who God, or that view of God, that's why I didn't want to go that route.
Okay.
So now if you change your idea, or for me, get the answers that you seek, or have someone to really sit down with you and actually like go through it, and it actually makes sense, then now you're able to have your own, like 10 toes down, all 10 fingers down, praising God. You have your own identity in God. Your whole idea of God changes. So when that started to happen, that's when my identity changed about who I am. Because now it's like, okay, through God, this is who I am. Not just this is who I am. That makes sense?
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. And with that being said, so at what point do you feel like it was a turning point for you to where it's like, I'm no longer like just kind of studying the women of the Bible, but I'm realizing like I'm one of the women, you know? Like that's really starting to, you know, like I'm convicted in a lot of these things. So I'm starting to really realize like it's actually me that I'm studying through God's word. You know, at what point was it a turning point to where it's like, I'm about to take this serious? Like, you know, like, cause remember I'll hit you like, oh, you in the word? Chill out. Like, when did the chill out change from like, said, guess what? What it look, I'm about to tell you something, you're not gonna believe it. Oh no, I believe it. I believe what done happened. What was that turning point for you?
So when I went to church, they had this class called Emmaus.
Okay.
And this class teaches you about grace. And I know, you know, the song, Your Grace and Mercy. Everyone loves the song, right? But I don't, for me, I can only speak from my own experience. I think I didn't know or understand what grace really was. So when I understood grace, then I stopped looking at other characters in the Bible. And I just focused on Jesus and the things that Jesus said. And so when I started focusing on just him, and, you know, like, I mean, I gotta like really personify, that's the word, right? Well, you make people look like, okay. So I think when we read the Bible, we look at these people as like they way up here. When they just us, right? So like when Jesus out here preaching to these people, first of all, where were they at? In the desert. It's hot. I'm pretty sure he wasn't out there talking about hell and brimstone. They're not gonna listen to you. So the things that he was talking about was like, I'm here. Like, you are mine. Abide in me. Like, I would relieve your stress. I will, make your burdens light. Like, oh, you're sad, I can make you happy. Or, you're blind, I can make you see. These are the reasons people kept following him, because he's telling them, he's like pouring life into them. It's not always about get it right. You better get it right. It wasn't always about that kind of stuff. And so when I kept learning more about that, and learning more about his grace and the times, or the, the opportunities that I've always had, because I could have been gone already. But these are just space opportunity to learn. And now, hey, learn more about who I am and my nature. So now when my idea, my mindset of God changed, and now I see him in a different light, now it's like I don't have any issues doing this, versus I have to do it. That makes sense?
No, that makes a lot of sense. Man, that's deep. And it was a proud moment for me too, as well, to see it, and really like see you in the moment too. Like just living that truth.
I'm gonna explain to the viewers right
now. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so the reason why he is so proud. Okay, the reason why is because like I grew up in the church. Church girl all my life, and then I got out of high school, went to the military. It was like one foot in, one foot out. God, give me some time and have a little fun. Then I'm gonna come back. Okay, deal. All right. I'm gonna come back though. I'll be in the club on Saturday night and still wake up and get to church on Sunday, bright and early. Maybe not bright, but you get the point. So then have me some fun. I was like, all right, I'm here now. I'm gonna get back in the word. And then all of a sudden, like, y'all, the curtains closed, the lights went off, and the floor left. I had no floor, no foundation, because the things that I had learned, I started seeing that it was like, it don't make sense, like some contradictions and stuff. When that happened, oh God, I'm going to hell. Oh my God, I'm going to hell. Oh, Cedric, oh my God. Remember that I had books.
Books on books.
I stood up in front of church. It was like, y'all, my faith is kind of rocky at the moment. People are like, just pray about it, sister. Just pray about it. Pray about it. I'm tired of praying. No. I'm reading like I done studied almost every religion there is. But it just got to the point I was like, I'm done. I'm out. I hate God. It don't make sense. What is true? Right? I literally cussed God out. I was like, if you're real, show me. I'm done looking for you. Like, this is a route. And then little things happen more and more and more. And it's like, you know what? Okay, you're real, but I ain't going to nobody's church. I did go reluctantly. My mama, I'll go home and visit her. I have to go to church. It's just a respectful thing to do. But other than that, I wasn't doing anything. But to make a long story short, my journey was like this. So now for me to be like, okay, I'm here now, 10 toes down, it's a big deal, even for myself.
A big deal. So I mean, it's huge, man, huge. Especially if you have been experiencing the same thing, similar things. Sometimes you have questions, and people, they would avoid. If sometimes they don't know the answer, so they would avoid actually addressing, the question, and so they'll just beat around the bush. Just stay faithful. Just don't do that. Don't do this. And things like that. And so we get a lot of it, and so sometimes it's discouraging. So, but to see that full circle, and that's why it's a proud moment, for me, because it's dope. Like even my journey, same thing. Kind of up and down, and so I really know that feeling of like what it is to kind of come back. Like when Jesus, he said he left the 99 to go after that one. The 9, they good over here. 99 is good, but the care and the love, you feel me, after that one. If it was us and we had 100 sheep and one leave, we'll be like, I still got 99 though. I still got 99, and we'll let them go astray. But that's just a proud moment. And so as we draw to a close though, this is very important. So we talked about a lot. We talked about your service, right, in the military. We talked about your exit, the military. We talked about, right, the men and women, the spirituality, identity. So for those watching and listening, what can you share to them, right, who might be in the same situation, like literally on the ship, but they're thinking about their goals in the near future, or might have a family, or even the confusion they might have spiritually without answers. Okay, what can you share to them about that?
You asked me like 5 questions in one. Okay, let's break it down. So for the ones in the military, if you're thinking about getting out, right, weigh the pros and cons. But at the same time, the question boils down to, are you happy? Because if you was like me, you wake up happy, listen to music, listen to a little podcast, you like good to go, and then you show them your ID, and now you start getting sad. It's like, oh man. Then you just sit in the parking lot like, I do not want to go on the ship. It's probably time for you to go.
Yeah.
It's probably time for you to go. If your mental illness is in play, or if your mental is not there and you're starting to decline, you spoke to people and things just not working out, it's probably time to go. If anything, for me, it was really like, your reenlistment date is coming up. Are you going to be happy because you're still in? Or are we going to be even more upset because we stayed in? You know what I'm saying? If that's the situation, it's probably time to get out.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as, how to get out, I will also, put a plan. I always told my sailors, like, even if you don't plan on getting out, just prepare to get out. So that way, even if that time comes and you decide to stay in, you got money. You got things already put aside. But when the time does come and you're ready to get out, you're still prepared. As far as like spirituality, as far as, your beliefs and so forth and so on, me personally, I don't consider myself religious. I have a relationship with God.
Yeah.
So, religious is the check. I did it. I'm a good kid, God. I'm a good kid. Do I get a prize?
Yeah.
Relationship means like, that's my daddy. Right? Like, we on daddy little girl term now, So to get to that position, I'll be like, just pray. I know I said it earlier, I'm tired of praying.
Yeah.
But eventually, you'll start meeting people who are there to help you along the way, for one. 2, change your mindset. So for me to really change my mindset was to go on a diet of just gospel music. Go on a diet of just prayer, meditation. Go on a diet, like, just get away from all distractions.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's a thing between good and bad. Is this going to get me closer to God or away from God? So when you start looking at things in that nature and start, just read the Bible. It may be confusing, but there's a lot of like YouTubes, a lot of like concordances, a lot of things that you can read for yourself. And I promise you, like, the answers are going to come. However, when you sit down with somebody and they teaching you stuff, go back and read it for yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You can't just like adopt someone else's belief as your own. You have to get your own. Because once that happens, now you're 10 toes in. Hope that makes sense. But yeah, if anything, if that's something that you're really hungry about and you see that you're missing something in life, because regardless, you can have all the money in the world, people are still committing suicide because there's something that's still missing. Yeah. So seek it, ask for it, have conversations out loud. You may feel like you're going crazy, but I promise you're not. And just keep reading. People come in your life, they answer questions, go back and check it.
Definitely. I appreciate you for that advice. Listen, here's the beauty. You can go back and rewind this. Everything that she just said, you're like, oh, hold up. I'm writing notes and I forgot. Pause it, rewind. There it is. And it's yours, but I thank you so much, for coming out.
Thank you.
Supporting the show, the Said Talk podcast, and y'all listen, the new season, stay tuned because it's coming. When's the date? Where can people find you at?
November 16th.
It's dropping November 16th. And where we at with it?
Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcast. So what's your Instagram? I'll put that up there so people can follow you and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's the New Season Podcast on Instagram. And eventually I'll let you know when I'm going to go on Patreon and all that kind of stuff too. But right now, Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, and I'm also on Instagram. New Season Podcast.
New Season Podcast, baby. But listen, we are here. This is another one. We are out. We rocking, baby.